All right, so we're live again. Apologies for the issues here. We're testing out a new system with a new producer in the back. But post in the chat if you can hear us. All right, happy Monday. We are back. Apologies for the whole mix-up. So,
all right, Forrest, go ahead and
for it.
Yeah, so we're talking about total cryptocurrency market cap. And the fact that it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when we hit these market cap numbers, right? We've already peaked at $2.56 trillion and we're on our way back to re-challenge that. But we can see from our long-term trend line that we've only violated twice. We've only dipped below this trend line very briefly on 2 occasions, one of which was a pandemic that crashed all markets, right? So we know that even if we do go into a mini bear market, right, even if we do see some corrective behavior, and the market is getting a little bit frothy right now with NFTs, that even if we do fall back down to this trend line, it's only a matter of a year or two before we would expect to find support and start creeping back up to these 2.6, 4.6, $8 trillion valuations, right? And we know that from historically, what we've seen the market do when it peaks in these bull market cycles is that these 4.6 to $7.8 trillion valuations are at risk premiums in terms of days to fair value that by the end of the year, this market could tolerate, right? Am I saying that we are absolutely going to a $5 trillion market cap by the end of the year? No, but I'm saying that in terms of risk, the market, this total cryptocurrency market cap in this space can certainly tolerate it. Back over to Bill.
Yeah, so what Forrest is really telling you is, 2 trillion doesn't matter. Technically, 3 trillion is a number where there's resistance, but the actual numbers could be 4.5 to 5 trillion. So for this new conversational market update, take a moment and sit back and say, whoa, where's Bitcoin and ETH and where's this whole market? If 3 trillion seems reasonable and 4 to 5 trillion is likely. So let's talk about Microstrategy. Now, what's that? Microstrategy is actually a small computer firm with a CEO that got a big idea to basically borrow money by issuing bonds like corporations do and take that money and massively ape into Bitcoin. He bought it at 10,000. He bought it at 20,000, the old all-time high when everyone was afraid. He just absolutely aped in. And he's turned this little computer company into like a Bitcoin mutual fund, really. So when I look at MicroStrategy's stock, which of course is going to track Bitcoin because of the size of their position and the celebrity of Saylor, Michael Saylor, the CEO, there's a head and shoulders bottom. It broke above a neckline. It bounced off the 21-day moving average. Why the 21-day moving average? Well, that's important for market momentum. So if you're above it, it can be really good. If you're below it, not so much. So MicroStrategy hit a fib diagonal line, bounced off this simple moving average. And with this pattern that's formed, to keep it simple, MicroStrategy can go from 700 to 1,000 easily. So where's Bitcoin if MicroStrategy is up 30 or 40%? Well, Bitcoin's probably 1x from where it is right now. Now, let's look at Ethereum in the stock market. Seasonal
Still on my screen. Is there a way to share Bill's screen here?
Yeah. All right, there you go, Bill.
Okay.
There we go.
So let's take a look at Ethereum in the equity market. This is ETHE. Now, to keep it simple, if ETHE goes down in the spring, it goes up in the summer. And if it goes down in the winter or down in the fall, it'll go up in the winter. So it has this sort of opposite world effect. So in the spring, even though there was a rally first, there was a crash in crypto into the start of summer. So based on this sort of opposite season behavior, you would expect that throughout the rest of the summer and perhaps into September, crypto may continue to rally. And this pattern is very pronounced, ironically, in ETHE from the equity market. So this Ethereum trust, that's kind of how stock market people buy ETH. This thing could go from 30 to 42. It could go back to its high by either September 11th, which is a big sort of anniversary day of a big event, or the fall equinox on September 22nd. So I'm laying out a case where the summer rally in crypto really is only at the half. There's 2 more quarters to go if you follow American football and basketball. Now, Ethereum in the crypto market. You've heard before, start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. What does that lead to? It leads to, say, a bigger up move. So it could be 35.50 short term easily. Eventually, 47.50, a new high. Now, I know Forrest is keeping track of ETH. There may be margin buying pressure levels. Forrest, can you talk to us on that a little bit?
Yeah, so in terms of margin buying pressure levels, I can cut over on my screen here and show you what I've got mapped out, right? We've got some big resistance coming through. That's the 2x long level here at around 3,400. That's going to be tough to get through. What I want to see Ethereum do is get through 3,400 and make support on top of it. We've also got this trend line, this dash trend line, that could act as support on the way up as well. But I have a feeling that so long as Bitcoin behaves, Ethereum could slice right through this, right to your target to 47.50. You know why? Because to some degree, it's amazing how, for lack of a better word, and this is not, I'm not calling anyone dumb, but the market as a whole today seems to be very dumb. Why? Because when I woke up this morning, I saw a headline that said Visa just bought a CryptoPunk. Visa just bought a CryptoPunk. Yet Ethereum. I'm sorry?
That's crazy.
Yeah, and what's insane about that headline is the fact that Ethereum's only up 1.76%. Do you think Visa used a Visa debit card to buy that CryptoPunk? No. If I woke up and the headline would have said Visa owns Ethereum, Visa buys Ethereum, Ethereum would be up 10, 12% today. But they did buy Ethereum. Visa owns Ethereum because that's what they had to use to buy the CryptoPunk. And that means that they've probably onboarded at an exchange where they could buy more Ethereum and more crypto. It's crazy that we get that CryptoPunk headlines and maybe the floor on CryptoPunks goes up. But Ethereum's only up 2% off of the news that Visa owns Ethereum because the market's not reading between the lines.
Yeah. So, I mean, speaking of not reading between the lines, a lot of people have been trying to tell me that, like, say, Bitcoin at 50K is like some sort of resistance. It doesn't mean anything. 50K is just a number, right? Forbes is calling me like, ooh, what does 50K mean? I was like, it's an even number, right? If you look at GBTC in the stock market, GBTC hits this moving average, okay, bounces and goes straight up, and GBTC could go from 40 to a gap at 50. Now, I know when we look at Bitcoin on like my Gann chart, okay, there's not a lot of resistance between 49 and 66. Okay, now I like my Gann chart, but I know that Forrest has got some like legit levels where there actually is resistance in Bitcoin. Now, before Forrest tells you about that, the way I think you would play it is when they hit Forrest's level, which he'll tell you about in a minute, that may be the opportunity to switch over to ETH. But let Forrest tell you about it.
Yeah, so the level that I'm not worried about, but looking at in terms of resistance, because if you can identify resistance, there's no reason to be worried about it. There's ways to trade. There's ways to structure your investment. There's ways to structure your risk and take profits that make these resistance levels opportunities to make money. Now, the resistance level that I'm looking at is around $58,000. Why? Because that's the 2x level, the 2x margin buying pressure level of our low at roughly $29,000. So you take $29,000, multiply it by 2, that's $58,000. That's relevant because as soon as Bitcoin goes above $58,000, leveraged buyers, leveraged traders can no longer buy Bitcoin on 2x leverage and hide their liquidation points or protect their liquidation points against this local low, this 29K low. So as soon as we get up to 50K, which there is on the way, right? Some resistance from this head and shoulders neckline that could come back to bite us, come back to haunt us. I would expect some sort of corrective behavior from Bitcoin. Now, that might be as simple as a consolidation below 58,000 where we don't really dip. That might be a pullback, right? That might be a pullback to 54,000. 58 to 54 wouldn't be too bad. That might be a full-blown 20, 30% correction back to maybe 50K, right? But what I would like to see is some resistance at 58K, which would make sense, a nice sharp bottom where the buyers come back in and rally to push it back up above 58,000. That's what I'm looking for. And the way I'm handling that is I'm going to consider to rebalance my portfolio, maybe take some, not sell everything. I'm bullish on crypto. I might take 5% out of the market and use that to rebuy if we get a dip. If we just slice right through $58,000, I still have 95% of my portfolio in crypto, and I'm none the worse off.
All right. So that's how we're going to play Bitcoin, right? We're going to play it for a new high in ETH, and we're going to play it for 58K in Bitcoin, and then maybe add to altcoins on a pullback from that level, or add to Bitcoin on a pullback from that level. Now, in the meantime, Cardano, right? The Cardano army marches on, right? The Gann point at $2.15. Cardano went through it, respected it for like a week, and then just took off. Now, Cardano is a story unto itself, but from a technical analysis point of view, okay, what does Cardano tell us? It tells us that crypto market cap underneath Bitcoin and Ethereum is being pushed by Cardano, right? Cardano is going up 10% every 2 days. So Cardano can continue to go up, and I'm seriously cheering for this coin because it looks like it wants to lead the entire market higher. So the higher Cardano goes, the higher ETH can go, because as Forrest said, the day everyone wakes up and goes, oh God, this thing is way too cheap. I mean, you may not be able to buy it, which is why time in the market is better than timing the market. In other words, not investment advice, but you kind of have to have a position in some of your favorite coins, right? In case you just wake up one day and people figure out that Visa is, in fact, probably sitting on tons of ETH, and that's not going to be the last company to get involved in CryptoPunks. So synthetics, right? Everyone's talking about CryptoPunks. I would want to talk about derivatives, the future of money, the future of Wall Street, right? CryptoPunks is another thing that's going on people's balance sheets, NFTs. But eventually, there are going to be derivatives traded on the CryptoPunks. People, Visa, they may need to hedge or speculate, right? If you don't have $700,000, how do you play in CryptoPunks? How about CryptoPunk derivatives? Why not? Synthetics, right? Someone's going to announce it. Bouncing off the 21-day moving average, it looks exactly like it did back in December of 2020. So why can't synthetics go from 13 to 29? I don't have a good reason. Chart looks good. Fib circles. There's nothing in the way, right? The only thing in the way is people's heads. So once they go, oh, gee, everything's going to change. And you want to be ready for that. And that's what we're trying to do here on the stream. Now, Link Marines, Chainlink, right? Forrest, before I tell people for the 27th time that Chainlink can go to 37, tell people like how you kind of, it's sometimes I think you almost use Chainlink as like a stable coin for lending and borrowing. Tell us your Chainlink story or strategy.
Yeah, so Chainlink for me, and I will cut over to the Chainlink chart here. Until very recently on this dip, I'm going to zoom out to the daily, right? And even throughout this dip, to be quite honest, Chainlink has managed to keep this long-term growth trajectory, this long-term trend line, which we're on a logarithmic view here. Bottom left, bottom right corner, it says log, right? That means that every tick up goes up. Every tick on the y-axis scale goes up by an increasing amount. So when you have a linear trend on a logarithmic view, that equates to long-term exponential growth. Now we know that.
First,
yep.
Could you zoom in?
Yep.
It's kind of tough to see based on the comments.
Yep.
The chart.
So when you have a long-term exponential trend, we know that exponential growth can't last forever, but crypto and these altcoins are still in the exponential phase of their growth trajectories, of their growth curves, of their adoption curves, right? So you have Chainlink, which has been holding this trend line for so long. The time to buy Chainlink is when it comes down to this trend line, right? I love buying on the trend line, and I love Link because its trend line is so easy to chart. When Chainlink drops below this trend line, for me, it's just an automatic buy, right? No questions about it. I like Link as a project. I like its fundamentals, and it's held this growth trajectory for so long that every time it drops down to this trend line or below it, it's just a buying opportunity for me.
Okay, so with that, with Forrest telling you that, right, Chainlink is connected to DeFi, and we're going to show you later how total value locked in DeFi has made a quiet new high. So you could wake up one day and Chainlink could be a volcano from 28 to 37, because really it's doing the same thing it was doing around the 21-day moving average back in January. What's old is new again in Chainlink. Now, drum roll, Audius, force induction into the Crypto Hall of Fame, along with my esteemed colleague, Ian Bellina, right, with Helium and Matic, is audio. Now, from a chart point of view, in this conversational market update, we're looking at support at 265 to 270. Now, that's actually held, and Audius has actually been banging down there a couple of times. Resistance is at my homemade Gann trend line around 3.5. Now, what I've been telling people is that if Audius can get above 3.5 and hold there, right? In other words, everyone's taking profits, right? People who bought it at 60 cents, of course, they're like, oh my God, I hit the 5X lottery, I'm out. So that's got some selling pressure to it. But what happens if people are like, wait a minute, Ian Bellina, rule number 4, double up on your winners, right? So if people come in and start, big people add to positions, and this is above 3.5, this thing could be at 5 easily, right? And I'm actually thinking it could be bigger than that. So Forrest, I know this is like your baby, but like, how can we stretch our imagination with audio if we're buying dips in the $2 to $3 range?
Yeah, I mean, I think audio can continue to rally. I've got some trajectories here on my chart, and I hope this is zoomed in enough for you guys to see it. But I've drawn this channel, and yeah, we do have this high target here where if we see some ridiculous parabolic action out of audio and we return to this top trend line, we could stretch our imagination since you asked to $55. But realistically, if we're following this channel here, by the end of the year, we're looking at support higher than what we're trading at currently. We're trading at $3.04, and we're looking at support at the bottom of this trend channel to $3.88. And we're looking at kind of a top test of the channel by the end of the year, somewhere around $14. Now, I like Audius for many different reasons, one of which is that it's built on both Ethereum and Solana. You guys know how much we love Ethereum and how much we like Solana. The fundamentals have also changed recently behind Audius's token. They just partnered with TikTok. You probably heard that news last week, but this is absolutely huge. I think TikTok, I forget off the top of my head, it's something like 600 and something million users, and they're valued, I think, at $425 billion. This is a massive partnership. And now people can go to Audius and export their songs directly to TikTok's sounds so that people can make TikToks with the Audius sounds. This is huge. So I don't plan on selling my audio tokens anytime soon. In fact, I'm staking them for around 20-something% per year, which is fantastic, and just holding, right? We're starting to see some projects pop up too, whereas Audius has not had any competition. Now we're starting to see projects pop up that are trying to challenge Audius, but they're very, very small, and Audius has this massive head start. So if anything, they validated the use case. They're the first mover, and the fact that competition is trying to catch up to Audius is only making me more bullish on this narrative overall.
Quick question first. So do you think Audius, with this partnership with TikTok, could enter top 10, top 20 territory?
That's tough to say. I think it's possible, but I don't think it would be sustained. I think it would be something. I think the comparison to make is maybe Theta, where Theta moved into top 10 territory, but it didn't sustain it. If we see this partnership actually manifest in serious user base growth for Audius, to where they go from their user base now and TikTokers come over from the platform to Audius, and we actually see Audius organically grow from this partnership, then yes. But if it's just kind of an incentive and a partnership that's working out and bringing some value, but it's not really bringing users over, then I think getting into that top 20 space is going to be more difficult.
All right, awesome.
All right, so looking at something and an altcoin where in the NFT space. So right now, if we go back to my deck, we're looking at the chart of flow. Okay. Back when everyone was asking Ian, Ian, what do you like? Because Ian likes basketball. He's like, well, Flow's got the NBA partnership, right? Flow is right now sitting on top of its 21-day moving average. So at 40, everyone loved it. At 7.5, everyone hated it. Now it's at 22, and it's what I call a bird on a wire getting ready to fly. The wire is the 21-day moving average. So in other words, it's poised to potentially build momentum on the upside. And as these NFT tokens, as the NFT news flow, right, the guy who runs Zero Hedge hit the tape Twitter with something that says, if you've got 1,000 people playing in NFTs right now with a lot of money, what happens when you have 1 million? That means you could have a $200 million or $100 million CryptoPunk. Now, if that's the case, all of these tokens, the whole ecosystem could move. So not investment advice, but just like when you look at this, these tokens are underappreciated, right? DeFi, DeFi is back. Total value locked. Everyone is looking at the NFT numbers for good reason. But total value locked just made a new all-time high. So how can total value locked be making an all-time high when Sushi, Uni, ETH, Compound? I mean, I could just go on and on, and you can go on tokenmetrics.com, where we have model portfolios that pop up altcoins daily and weekly, so you can focus on, will Solana go higher? Or what's the next Solana? Right? So as DeFi makes this big new high, it is time to look at altcoins on every pause in Bitcoin, right? So again, for altcoins, you want to go to tokenmetrics.com. For the market update, you want to be involved. Time in the market matters, right? Forrest talks about his position. He's always involved, right? He's involved. And in this market, in this type of environment where it could go parabolic between now and the time the leaves turn for the fall, is a really important theme to pay attention to you. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the new conversational market update.
So actually, quick update on Flow. So our team was going through and doing research on Flow, and it's actually the highest rated project we've ever done a code review in the last 12 months in terms of the best ROI. Because we covered them during their token sale on CoinList, and they were going for 10 cents. So if you go from 10 cents initial price on the token sale last 12 months back all the way to their all-time high, it did over a 400x return on investment, which is insane, right? So congrats to anybody out there who invested. Unfortunately, it was on CoinList, so they didn't take American investors. So we didn't make too much money on that or any money on that at all. But in general, I think it shows that the framework works for token metrics. Congratulations to the customers making money on it. Back to you, Bill.
All right. So if you've got questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We don't have a Menti code for today, but if you've got questions for us, we're going to try to pick off stuff in the chat and see if we can, answer those questions. Now, for the next section, Forrest, do you want to drop the carrot?
Yeah, guys. So look, there's over 600 people viewing this live stream right now, and I think we've got a little over 100 likes. And something we want to try out is if half the people watching this stream right now dropped a like, we'd get over 300 likes, right? And if we can get over 300 likes, I think it's fair that Bill and I could do some rapid fire altcoin TA at the end, right? Maybe a little live stream overtime, if you will, if we can hit that like target. We're going to try it out, see how it goes. Guys, if we don't hit 300 likes, though, we have to, if we throw it out there, we have to stay true to it. If we don't hit 300 likes, then we can't do it, right? We have to set the precedent. And I think 300 likes is going to be easy because we have 600 people in the stream right now. If half of everybody just smashes that like button, we're going to have 300 likes. And we're going to do some rapid fire TA on some altcoins at the end.
So actually, right. Dave is saying to ask for 600 likes.
600 likes.
All right. Well, if we get to 600 likes, we'll definitely. I don't know.
Oh wow, we already smashed past 300 instantly through three.
So
that
next time we have to say 600.
Well, yeah, it looks like we're doing some rapid fire TA. Thanks for the likes, guys.
All right. So to the moon and beyond. So without further ado, let's give the people what they want. All right. And here comes altcoin TA rapid fire. All right. You're seeing my screen now, altcoinstokenmetrics.com.
Yep.
All right, here we go. Rune. We have been pounding the table on this on Token Metrics TV. Multi-coin capital, big hedge funds got a position. Why? Because it's DeFi, firmly rooted overseas, possibly regulation-proof U.S. government. Total DeFi value lock makes a new high. Rune is at 12, and there's resistance at 13, but after that, there's no one home until 27. So if you're building something or looking for something that's broken out but not mooned, this could be one of the coins, Thorchain, to take a look at, not investment advice. Now, how can DeFi move? DeFi could move like AVAX, right? AVAX broke out. It took out a line around 12 after taking out the 21-day moving average. And if this doesn't make the 21-day moving average case, I don't know what will, right? No reason to think AVAX, after a pullback to 45, couldn't just continue, right? This platform and Solana can continue to move along with Cardano and ETH. So when I'm telling you that, as part of like rapid fire, that you got to pay attention to the 21-day moving average, well, folks, don't take my word for it. This is the chart, right? This is the chart of AVAX telling you that, once something gets going in this market, it just keeps going and going, right? So this is, AVAX looks okay. It's mooned, but this is what the whole market could look like. Now, I'm also looking at Badger, right? 236 ranked market cap, sitting on top of its 21-day moving average with a U-shaped bottom. So, DeFi on Bitcoin. Could that happen? Could that help Badger? Badger was at 80 Everyone loved it. Now it's at 25. No one's talking about it. No one, that is, except us. Ren. Yes, I dare to say it. I'm bringing it up. Okay, I love this. And then it went up slowly, and then it fell out of bed. Ren is a DeFi coin. It's a link potentially between ETH and Polkadot. The intellectual property for Ren itself, like the company, was purchased by Solana when Solana was like at 3. So Ren has got some cool stuff. Solana, obviously, they're geniuses, but Ren has started to break out. The token is pressing through 65 cents. Remember, this is a good opportunity to tell you that Ren is on Coinbase. Now, will Ren moon? Maybe. Okay. Why not? Okay. How about everything else on Coinbase? What happens when Bitcoin smashes through 50K? What happens when ETH smashes through 4K? Have you thought about the level of FOMO that can come into Coinbase? Coinbase alone. Because I'm not even talking about Uniswap and everybody going, oh my God, I've got to discover decentralized trading. You maybe discovered it a year ago, but what about the Coinbase crowd that now has a wide variety of things to choose from, right? Serious FOMO with total value locked, making a new high. Alchemix, okay, believe it or not, I'm actually looking at something, 249 market cap, that's actually sitting just below its 21-day moving average. Being kind of a pain in the ass, okay? But when these things pop above, you want to keep your eye on them. You don't want it to be like AVAX where you go, gee, AVAX was at 45 and now it's, I should have bought it at 12. So what I'm doing is I'm looking through the altcoin world or tokenmetrics.com. I'm using our AI and machine learning, literally, not a commercial, to find coins, not investment advice, that I can get involved in before any potential moonshot starts. Okay, fetch.ai, rounding bottom, bounced straight off the 21-day moving average. Okay, and again, a coin that looks like a bottom and has not mooned yet. Frequently, when the whole market moons, everyone calls us up on the live stream and goes, oh my God, what hasn't mooned yet? Is there anything out there? Well, yes, we're telling you now. We're telling you now to look for these type of things. 21-day moving average. Speaking of that, ACH, Alchemy Pay, the future of money trade has turned into the future of payment systems trade. In other words, it's the plumbing of the fiat system for the dollar is called SWIFT. That's how dollars move around the world. In crypto, ACH on Coinbase is a payment system for both fiat and crypto. Okay? It moons off the Coinbase listing, comes back to the 21-day moving average, and then bounces. How high can this go? We also looked at QNT Quant. We're also looking at Dash. Okay? This future of money trade, this idea that, say, with QNT, that Latin America may be able to share one central bank digital currency or one stablecoin between countries, almost like the way the euro is for Europe, except it would be on the blockchain for Latin America. Dash, also a big player in Latin America. A totally invisible theme that is going up before everyone's eyes. And how high can it go? I don't know. Ask Forrest how high Nano can go. Let's do that in just 1 second, but for rapid fire, Rally. So Forrest can weigh in on both Rally and Nano. Check it out on the 21-day moving average, right? Just above it, not perfect, but as I understand it, this is decentralized social media, okay? Armor. Yes, everyone is always asking, what about Armor? What about Armor? Okay, let's talk about Armor. All right. It broke through a fib diagonal line and volume actually came into this coin on the way up. Now, we know that this thing went down. We know the tokenomics were problematic, which is why it went down. But what if Mr. Market at a market cap rank of 600 wants to take a shot that maybe there's a catalyst? Maybe they fixed the problem. Maybe everybody who was going to sell has sold. So I'm not just making a case for Armor. I'm making a case for coins that have been left for dead, because that stuff has been waking up. So thanks to you hitting the like button, I'm getting you in a position where I get my Token Metrics TV audience to say, hey, look, where can you get involved where no one else is getting involved before this whole thing just does nothing but go up? Now, Tornado Cash. Man, have I got a story about Tornado Cash. Ian says, I like Tornado Cash. It's a DeFi privacy coin. I'm like, oh my God, a DeFi privacy coin sounds like, I don't, maybe I'm just too old. You know what I'm saying? I was like, wow, this is a recipe for trouble, but Ian liked it, right? When's Ian ever wrong about altcoins? I don't know, about never. So guess what? Tornado Cash does nothing, like all value investments, crashes, gets everyone out, and then all of a sudden, right, everyone wakes up and wants privacy in DeFi off the congressional regulatory infrastructure bill fiasco. Tornado Cash goes from 40 to 80 and then sits on, drum roll, the 21-day moving average at 47. So I'm like, oh my God, Ian Bellina strikes again. If this thing bounces off the 21-day moving average and there is a yield farming or some sort of tokenomics, or it could just be the privacy. Like if the privacy narrative, right? And with this, I'm going to turn it over to Forrest, right? There's the privacy narrative, there's Nano, right? And there's Rally. So Forrest, take it away on those themes, man.
Yeah, so I think privacy narrative is something we could absolutely see if we start to see more regulation in the space, right? Because people, a lot of the people that crypto attracts, right? The type of people crypto attracts that are maybe a little anti-establishment, right? They don't like the current way the dollar is being managed. They don't like how they're just printing more and more dollars. It's the same type of people that kind of want privacy when it comes to their finances, right? So I can absolutely see a privacy narrative start to emerge as we start to see more regulation in the space, and stuff that could do well as a result of that would be maybe Tornado Cash, Blank, which is just like a MetaMask style wallet that is integrated Tornado Cash. We could see Monero do well. We could see Zcash do well. I believe there's one called Pirate Coin that has privacy features as well. But on the topic of Nano and digital cash solutions, we've seen Nano move from its bottom at $3.10 to its 2x long level. Now, 2x long levels, we talked about the Bitcoin 2x long level at 58,000 towards the beginning of the stream, and how it's extremely big resistance. And when things break through their 2x long levels, that's pretty bullish because there's not a lot of resistance until you get to the 2x short level, right? So Nano broke through $6.20, tested below it, ended up finding support on top of it, and has now gone higher. Now, the next resistance I see for Nano is actually around $8.85. Why? Because that's the 2x short level of our all-time high, right? Take our all-time high, or not our all-time high because Nano blasted off to $37 back in 2017, but our local high at $17.70, divide it by 2. Why? Because that's where you can start. As Nano passes $8.85, that's where you can start going short on Nano on 2x leverage and have your liquidation point protected against the all-time high. So that should act as some resistance. But right now, it's at $7. We could go to $8.85 relatively easily with very minimal resistance. Rally's running into some resistance in this channel here. But the thing about Rally is the tokenomics aren't designed for the Rally price to go up and up and up, right? If you invest in Rally, what you want to do is take those Rally tokens and buy creator coins. Why? Because when you buy creator coins and that creator's ecosystem or that creator coin goes up in value, right, with the growth of their community, and the growth of the amount of Rally that's backing that creator coin, Rally distributes RLY tokens to the holders of those creator coins, right? And those Rally rewards, I can tell you firsthand, are very, very good. Very good, right? The yield on weekly Rally rewards, if you're invested or if you're in Rally tokens that are growing rapidly, the Rally rewards are very, very good. Now, the reason the tokenomics behind Rally doesn't incentivize the price going up is because there's such a fast emission schedule and a low circulating supply of Rally, because they're giving these Rally rewards to the holders of greater coins. So what they're doing is they're making the trade-off, which I think is actually a very smart trade-off. They're making the tokenomics trade-off of saying we're not that concerned with the price of our actual token. What we want to do is incentivize people to buy these creator coins and support these creator communities. So as a platform, they've incentivized very rapid growth, and that's what they're experiencing. Some quick rapid fire. Helium. Helium has just broken through its resistance, right? Throughout the entire corrective period of crypto over the last 2 months, Helium was bouncing up and down in this channel from $10 up to $20, just bouncing in what we call an accumulation stage. Helium recently, 20th of July, bottomed out under $10, around $9, hit the trend line. What do you know? Hit the long-term trend line. I always say buy on the trend line, moves up over $20, makes a new all-time high at 25. Not bearish whatsoever on Helium, but one thing I'd be aware of is what I like to see, support on top of previous resistance, right? If you're dying to get into Helium and you're looking for a Helium entry, right? $20 might be that entry point, might be that support point, right? We had resistance multiple times at $20. If it comes back down to $20 to find some support, that could be a potential entry point. Solana, getting a little bit overextended recently, but still in its channel. Now, I'm a fan of Solana. I think it could grow very rapidly, but keep in mind, it is towards the top of its trend channel, right? It's recently broken through and found support on the top dashed channel here. And if we see it test the top once again, I think that would be an incredible profit-taking opportunity, right? If we see Solana launch to $100, $150, $200, that could be a potential profit-taking opportunity. Again, if you're invested in Solana for the long term, that doesn't mean you have to sell 100% of your Solana bag, but taking 5% here, 5% here can set you up to pay yourself and not hold the bag all the way on the way back down, where we inevitably, with the ebbs and flows of the market, would expect, right? If Solana goes to $200, there's nothing to say that it can't come back down to retest support at $100 in a nasty correction. Last rapid fire, DOT. DOT has made a phenomenal recovery, and if we were to see it test the top of this trend channel, right, the top dashed line here by the end of the year, that would be $120 DOT, right? DOT has been rather volatile with very big rallies this market cycle from the $4 to $5 range down here all the way up to $40 to $50. Now, DOT was absolutely exploding when Bitcoin just started tanking, right? DOT was on its way to push higher, right? It had just made some all-time highs at $49, $50, and then Bitcoin fell out, corrected, and drove altcoins way far down, right? We bottomed out at $10. We're looking to build support on this trend line here and go higher. If it goes higher, we could see prices as high as $100, right? In the midterm, we absolutely could come back to retest all-time highs for DOT. A lot of top 10 cryptocurrencies have already surpassed or retested their all-time highs. Look at Cardano, for example. Cardano already making all-time highs. Helium, not a top 10 token, but already making all-time highs, right? DOT, solid project, could absolutely retest all-time highs around $40 to $50. I'm going to pass it back over to Bill and Ian. That's been Crypto Rapid Fire. Thanks for all the likes, guys.
So that's awesome. So great job on that, Forrest. So first of all, Helium and Polygon have done a great job. For those who followed me on my Instagram, you saw that I did take some profits on Polygon and Helium, which I actually didn't really expect to, but it just made sense. When Helium was hitting an all-time high and it does a 200x return on your money, you definitely want to pay yourself, as Bill says. Right? So congrats to our crypto family, as we like to say.
We just landed on the moon in the Lambo.
That's 200x investments this year. Helium Network and Polygon. So definitely take some profits. Now, don't go out there and sell everything. I still have probably 3/4 of my Polygon and Helium, but it made a lot of sense to pay ourselves. So congrats. Back to you, Bill.
Right. Now, a brief announcement. Folks, we are going to 100,000 YouTube subscribers. Okay? Hashtag 100K today. Please subscribe to our channel. Why? Well, because if you help us, we can help you. If you like us, we'll help you get that life-changing money, right? We want you to subscribe to tokenmetrics.com, but we want you to know that if you don't have the money to subscribe to tokenmetrics.com, we will still be here to help you, right? But tell your friend to tell a friend, because we are going to 100K and we need you to get us there. So, speaking of 100K or more, I believe that my two esteemed colleagues have been really getting involved in the NFT market. I remember an Ian Bellina story where he woke up one day, he was working at a computer company, and he said, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm getting into crypto. And then that story may have repeated itself where he woke up one day and goes, you know what? I'm going to get in before Visa gets in, and I'm going to play in NFTs. So, gentlemen, feel free to tell us at any order you want. Like, I know Forrest is on the gaming side. I know Ian is buying art in both the digital and non-digital world. Gentlemen, enlighten our audience. Tell us a few stories.
So actually, I have a story for you guys. Actually, it came from this week, but also last week. So a crypto friend of mine, I've known him since 2017. He moved back here into Austin, Texas. So a week ago, he bought an Ether rock. I think he bought it for like 60 ETH or somewhere around there. And within a week, the floor price on an Ether rock, I think it's like 150 ETH. So he basically made, I think, 700 grand in a week. Now, this guy was already kind of a whale, pretty much, right? But that goes to show you buying rocks, buying NFTs, it's not going anywhere, right? Because people are probably asking themselves, why do you buy a rock? Well, it's not really a rock. Because he showed me when you buy the rock, my understanding is for the Ether rock, they're basically limited to 100 rocks, and anybody who's a rock owner can be put into a private Discord, Twitter, and Telegram group. Now, inside this group, it's basically the who's who of crypto. You have people like Arthur Hayes in there, you have Gary Vaynerchuk in there, you have Melton Demers, you have Justin Sun in there. So really, it's just access to this private crypto group of the who's who, right? So people are just buying it for that. And it really got me thinking, that's quite a use case for crypto, quite a use case for NFTs. Imagine all the private groups out there. Imagine if you could just enter them with having an NFT and also make money while doing it, right? Because I think last night, Justin Sun dropped $500,000 on an Ether rock.
That's right.
Because he wants to be part of the club, right? So, I mean, if you're not in NFTs now, after all this stuff happening, after Visa buying a CryptoPunk, I mean, this is just getting started.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Arthur Hayes wrote this really long blog post that I saw Mike Novogratz. Arthur Hayes is one of the original crypto pioneers of derivatives. Mike Novogratz is head of Galaxy Digital, like really the first hedge fund, the first guy to go all out from legacy into crypto. Okay, these guys, Novogratz commented on what Arthur Hayes wrote, and Hayes wrote this really elaborate explanation that the use case for NFTs about this exclusive access. But as I understood it, it's the new way to flex, right? It's the new Air Jordan sneaker, right? So let me ask you something. Like, my idea of a flex is pineapples on my shirt. I'm a technical analyst, right? So, but if you wanted to go to a club, okay, or you wanted to go to an exclusive place, you would wear exclusive clothing, right? You couldn't just show up, or otherwise, how do you flex? Like Moon Lambo, right? The crypto flex used to be a Lambo, and NFTs, okay, may be the new crypto flex, the new Lambo. So speaking of racing and going fast, Forrest, aka the winner of the next digital Kentucky Derby, Forrest, give us the Zed rundown. Haha.
Nice. Yeah, so the Zed rundown. So Zed.run is a digital horse racing platform. It's been built by VHS, or Virtually Human Studios, that raised $20 to $23 million from multiple VCs, one of which was Andreessen Horowitz. They've had incredible partnerships. Stella Artois, the beer company, Atari, NASCAR. They just partnered with, I believe, Yield Guild Games, and they just partnered with Decentraland. So they are absolutely crushing it in funding, and they're crushing it in partnerships. Now, what Zed.run is there's thousands of horses, each of which is an NFT. Each of these NFT horses have different racing abilities, different speeds, different endurances, but you don't know the stats on a horse until you actually race it. And you can actually earn money by entering your horse in races, and if it wins, if it places top 3, you make money. If it places first, you get more money than if it places second or third. But you pay an entry fee to enter it into a race, and you can make money. Now, just like CryptoKitties and I believe Axie Infinity, there is a breeding mechanism. So just like in real horse racing, you can breed your horse with other horses. Now, if you have a very fast or genetically advantageous horse, right, a horse that is closer to the Genesis horses, the original 1,000 horses, right? There's only 1,000 Z1 Nakamoto Genesis horses. If you have a very valuable horse, a desirable horse to breed with, you can charge very high breeding fees. So what I've done is I've gone in and bought a couple of Z1 Genesis horses as well as a Z2 Genesis horse. And the floor, I paid 12 ETH for a Z1. The floor's moved up in the last couple weeks since I've been into about 23 to 25 ETH. So already up 10 ETH in terms of the price paid to the floor now, which is quite nice. But the reason I was willing to jump in and buy these Zed.run horses is because, for one, the utility's there. Well, for one, the backing of the investors and the partnerships behind this project are very, very good. But for two, the utility is there. These NFTs are a revenue stream, right? Imagine paying $30,000 for a real estate property and then being able to rent it out for $2,000 a month. The Z1 horses right now, for their breeding fees, you can breed them out 3 times a month. They're earning $2,000 a month, right? Just in breeding. So that offsets a lot of risk. Now the breeding fees, and there's, they may be volatile, they may go up and down, but if I can earn a large portion of my initial investment back from these monthly breeding fees, all of a sudden I'm playing with house money after 6, 12, 18 months, depending on how cheap you get the horses and what breeding fees do over the course of that period. There's also a token airdrop rumored in Q4, right? So this airdrop is rumored to be actually pretty big, depending on how good of a horse you have. So if you have a Z1 horse, it's rumored that the airdrop will actually be larger. So you've got the monthly recurring income through breeding, right? You've got the underlying value of the horse that could potentially go up. You've got the ability to race them for income, and an upcoming token airdrop, rumored, of course, right? So there's all these ways to make my money back, which made me pull the trigger on these investments. And I had to cut some big stuff out of my portfolio. I had to sacrifice my DOT position, which I'm a very big fan of DOT, in order to do this. But I'm very bullish on this use case, and I wanted to get involved in NFTs. The other thing about being involved in NFTs are valued. They're priced in Ethereum. So if you can, like Ian just talked about, the story of buying a rock, an Ethereum rock for 60 ETH, and then selling it for 300 or multiple hundreds of ETH, right? You still have that underlying exposure to ETH. So you might make, right? Let's say you make 200 ETH on that rock. What happens when you make 200 ETH, but also the price of ETH goes from 3,000 to 10,000? You made 200 ETH plus an additional $7,000 on that ETH. So I like that underlying exposure to Ethereum, and I think it reduces the risk a lot. It's not like I'm having to be exposed in some altcoin that's really small cap and dependent upon, right, that altcoin's performance. You're exposed to Ethereum, which is what I really like about NFTs right now.
Yeah, and this is a perfect segue into just a brief thing. Who are the true players in crypto, right? Like, where are they? Like, who do you want to listen to and why? So I'm talking to Forrest one day, and Forrest is like, yeah, man, I did a rebalance and I'm in Zed Run. And I'm like, and Forrest is like, yeah, like giving me kind of like the don't tell mom voice. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't say anything. People, when you listen to people about crypto, my two colleagues are the guys who are there before everyone else is there. Some people can brag about things, but I don't know that we have to, because I've got two guys on the stream with me, and I got 10 people at tokenmetrics.com, where if you go to tokenmetrics.com/podcast, we've got something called the Engine Room, where Forrest and other people, along with myself behind the scenes, we talk not just about crypto, but it's a way for you to get to know what is behind our artificial intelligence engine. Like, did you know that Forrest, the guy, or Ian, both of them, are working with the AI? When we say we've got machine learning, who teaches the machines? The gentleman you just heard from, the gentleman who just told you what's going on in NFTs and gave you a slice of their journey. So again, check out our Engine Room podcast, and please stay and subscribe with us. Now, as the payment for listening to that very humble commercial, let's go to a flashing news break. If you can see my screen, can you see my TradingView ETH screen? My ETH chart?
Yep.
Okay, so check this out. A new live stream feature. How about breaking news or breaking TA? So I've been talking about the 21-day moving average. Ooh, how about we take an intraday chart like the 89-minute chart, where H bar is 89 minutes. That comes from the Gann universe. But we leave that 21-period moving average up. That's right. A 21-day becomes a 21-period or 21-bar average. So we're going to use something that no one looks at and check out what ETH's doing. ETH breaks below the 21-day moving average, or not the 21-period moving average on this intraday chart, okay? It fakes everyone out. Then it pops above it. Then it dips again right here, right on this green line. And what's ETH doing now? As Forrest and Ian are talking about the currency that everyone's going to need to have on their balance sheet for two reasons. One, ETH's the future of money. Two, ETH's the future of the internet. And three, ETH is the currency of culture. Borrowed that from Novogratz. How much is human expression worth? How much money did the Egyptians put in to art? The pyramids, the Sphinx, the carvings on the inside, their tombs, right? These things were studied by Gann as treasures of clues for numbers that he used to help predict markets. All of that came from art. and ETH is the currency of art. So when I go back and I look, or you look at this live stream and I look at these charts, I say to myself, you know what? Let me just break in here on the stream and tell everybody what we've been telling everybody for quite a while. It's actually on our site where we publish reports all about ETH. It was part of a recent promotion. If the dollar goes down, ETH can go much, much higher. And everyone is asking. I see it in the comments, and we want to get to them. And in future streams, we're going to bring back Q&A. So don't worry. We know you're out there. We love you. We definitely want to hear you and take your questions. But everyone's like, well, what about my coin? And I say that ETH is the rising tide that can lift all the boats. So when I'm talking about total crypto market cap, I'm actually talking about your coin. So if you've got a coin, unless it's gone to zero and you bought it because you heard about it at the barbershop, if you've done any research, have confidence in yourself, right? This is the pep talk part, right? I do the market update and the pep talk. This is the pep talk. If ETH is the rising tide that lifts all boats, then if you've got a winner and Ian Bellina believes in adding or doubling up on your winners, or if you just started in crypto, or you're looking on the internet and going, oh, gee, what do I do now? And here we are. Here's Pineapple Man telling you that ETH at 3,200 is mispriced. It's mispriced, right? I did a video with an esteemed colleague somewhere else on another channel, and we talked about ETH at 12K. And that's, we talked a little bit about, I don't know, my personal life, and we talked about the dollar, and we talked about all the stuff we've talked about here. And we're talking about 25,000, 26,000 views, right? So if you're out there and you're listening to this, who do you want to listen to in crypto? Well, you want to listen to the guy like Ian, who was in ETH at 300, who was borrowing against his ETH at
actually
the top.
$8, Bill.
Sorry. He got in at $8, right? And we were pounding the table on all this stuff in 2019, or rather, I was learning from him. So transitioning from the pep talk to the education, let me ask you something. How did I learn about crypto? I learned legacy being in the market for 20 years, but I learned crypto how? Well, let me tell you something. Someone puts a camera in your face and says, we're going live for 2.5 hours. Ask me anything. Turn on your trading view. Let's go. Let me tell you something, folks. You learn crypto quickly. And I learned crypto from listening to my colleagues here on the stream. Now, as I understand it, Forrest was in it way back when, right? Like high school, maybe?
Yeah, the first involvement, I guess mild involvement, you could say, that I had in crypto was my brother was like mining Bitcoin on his laptop, like pre-2012. I can't remember the exact dates, but yeah, he had a laptop with Bitcoin block rewards, which back then were, I think, 25 Bitcoin or something like that. And yeah, lost that laptop, but we dabbled, like we owned a couple Bitcoin, and then just, it crashed from $1,100. You had like the Mt. Gox thing, and really got involved more in 2016, 2017. The first real involvement I had in crypto was buying like 40, 50, 60 ETH at like $13 each. And then like selling some of it to actually buy mining rigs, right? So I was actually mining Ethereum out of my college apartment in 2016, 2017. Wish I would have kept those mining rigs running through this big DeFi boom, but been involved since about then.
All right. Ian, as I understand it, you recently did some traveling to go home for a family birthday. Happy birthday to that member of Ian's family. I'm just curious, man. Like when you go back home, like, do they just treat you like, oh yeah, that's the guy at the second the chair on the dinner table, or do they kind of know who you are now? I'm just curious as to how
they know. I mean,
they know who you are.
Yeah, my family knows. They're on the mailing list. They follow everything.
All right. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, some guy walks through the front door, right? Or we have a meeting at Token Metrics. And, I started in this business with like a Bitcoin maximalist, right? And now I've moved over into this space. All right. And again, what I've been learning, okay, where I've gone, all right, at age 51, I've got a guy that works with me who you're going to hear about on the podcast. Okay. He's actually younger than my daughter. Okay. And he's learning crypto and we're learning crypto together, doing things like NFT roundup, things like the market update or called state of the market. So I started writing state of the market at my previous crypto job. And now I'm showing him. And you're out there going, Bill, why are you telling me this story? Because I'm going to teach it to him. He's going to teach it to you. And we're all going to teach it to each other. Gentlemen, I think that's about all I've got. Do you have any parting words?
Yeah, I'll jump in and say, go ahead, Ian.
It's fine. Go ahead, Forrest.
I'll jump in and say, guys, yes, we talk about entry points and we talk about how the total cryptocurrency market cap can sustain higher levels, right? We can tolerate a larger bubble than what we're in, right? Everybody's wanting to get in crypto after it's just 3x'd from the bottoms, right? After Cardano was just $1, now everyone wants to buy it at $3 a month later, right? You just heard that Ian has taken profits. I've got profit targets set for when Bitcoin, if and when Bitcoin gets to $58,000. Does that mean we're selling everything? No, but what it means is that we're paying ourselves, right? The time to buy was when there was blood in the streets. Now after we see a 3x move out of most altcoins, it's time to consider paying yourself. And hopefully you bought that dip. If you didn't, it's not necessarily the time to FOMO in, right? Now we know things can go higher and they likely will, but we want to manage and minimize our risk for the long term. So do we want to buy necessarily off of a 3x move? Well, maybe we want to wait for a little bit of a correction. It's tough. I know it's a psychological game. You see everything go up and you want to just FOMO in and jump in because things are just printing gains. And we know the market can move parabolically and maybe it will. And maybe it is the right decision in hindsight to actually buy now, right? Maybe it doesn't come back down. But time and time again, crypto corrects. It offers you entry points, right? So my parting words would just be patient and pay attention to what people are doing, right? We're not up here talking about, we just went all in on this project. We're talking about taking profits now that there's been a big 3x move. Again, we're not selling our entire bags, right? And this isn't financial advice, but pay yourself. Pay yourself.
All right. So speaking of paying yourself, as Bill and Forrest mentioned, and those who watched me on Instagram, I paid myself. And that's definitely the way to go, because value investing, you want to buy from pessimists when people think it's the end of the world, and then sell to optimists, people who think it's going to the moon and beyond, right? So I'm not saying we aren't going to the moon and beyond, because we are, but I'm saying now is a good time to sell or take profits because you can get liquidity, right? I'm not saying sell everything. I'll probably do a deep dive video on this for Moon Mission on TMTV, probably this week or next week, in terms of how I'm kind of approaching that in terms of taking profit. What I did is basically take profits on Polygon, Helium, about 20 to 30% on each or so. But I'm still keeping some for the long term and still staking and I'm doing all that awesome stuff. But at the end of the day, pay yourself, because who knows, if the music starts playing and you've not paid yourself in a bull run, that feels pretty bad. And then the next point I'll say is NFTs right now are hot. I got into NFTs for a reason, and now seeing all the stuff that's happening in the last 2 weeks, it's getting even harder to a point where we're actually exploring possibly launching token metrics NFTs for our customers. So tell us down below in the chat if you think that would be a good idea. Let us know if it's a good idea. We are looking for an amazing NFT artist, somebody who can do something amazing, kind of like Bored Apes. If you can do that, definitely contact us, email us, at tokenmetrics.com. We're looking for the best artists out there to make the best NFTs out there for the best customer and community audience we have, you, Token Metrics family.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our conversational market update live stream. And not only our market update, but the update from the people who know best, who you want to trust in crypto. All right, that's me, your host, and my two colleagues. This is Bill Noble from Token Metrics and Token Metrics TV. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. We will see you next time.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Take care.